Jr., after a 5-year break, is returning to Marvel, but before he did that, he actually turned down Ryan.
Actors are finally opening up about what it was really like working with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. From reports of Robert Downey Jr. allegedly shutting Ryan down to Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld walking away from Marvel in frustration, the stories just keep coming. Fellow A-list celebrities have begun calling Ryan out publicly, and this time it's more than just whispers. Marina Baccarin has now stepped forward to share what she says happened on the Deadpool set that ultimately led to her exit. And if you thought TJ Miller's accusations were shocking, this latest information takes things to an entirely new level. There are also claims that Ryan went to extreme lengths to derail Justin Baldoni's career, revealing a level of ruthlessness that few expected. What once looked like Hollywood's golden couple is starting to resemble something else entirely, a carefully managed PR image. The question now isn't just what happened, but how it stayed hidden for so long. Grab your popcorn. There's a lot to unpack, so let's get into it.
Ryan Reynolds was the leader in this. I believe that. I believe Ryan Reynolds was the leader and is the leader in everything that she does. So should we be compassionate? And the answer is no. My friends, we obviously should not be compassionate. That's not how this works, okay? When you get caught doing something that is purely evil, the task is not on the people who caught you doing that thing to extend forgiveness to you when you have not asked.
Rob Liefeld later revealed that his experience at the New York City premiere of Deadpool and Wolverine felt deliberately designed to embarrass, diminish, and ultimately push him out. Speaking on a recent episode of his Robservations podcast, Liefeld said his representatives attempted to secure entry for his family to the afterparty, only to be turned away by Disney's publicity team. According to Liefeld, Disney made the final call. They told us, "You and your family are not welcome here. We tolerate you for the screening," he said. That moment, he explained, marked his breaking point. At that point, I knew in my heart I couldn't continue. While Marvel has weathered many controversies over the years, critics argue that Ryan Reynolds cannot be fully separated from this one. This all unfolded within the Deadpool franchise, the very property Reynolds is the public face of, and where he had assumed extensive creative control. The fact that Liefeld reached his limit on this project of all projects has struck many observers as telling. Reports from insiders had already suggested that the Deadpool set environment had become increasingly tense, with Reynolds dominating creative decisions. Detractors question whether Marvel would have allowed that level of control unless the studio itself was aligned with his approach. Notably, there has been no public indication that Reynolds attempted to intervene, de-escalate, or repair the situation with Liefeld. Instead, critics see a recurring pattern. Similar allegations have surfaced regarding It Ends With Us, a project led by Blake Lively, where Reynolds was reportedly involved behind the scenes. According to reports circulating during the Deadpool and Wolverine premiere afterparty, Reynolds allegedly approached a senior WME executive to express his dissatisfaction with director and co-star Justin Baldoni. Sources claim he suggested the agency was acting against him. Shortly afterward, Baldoni was dropped by WME following Blake Lively's legal filings. While details remain disputed, the episode underscores the level of influence Reynolds is perceived to wield in Hollywood. To critics, his affable comedic persona masks a significant amount of industry power that, they argue, blurs the lines between personal grievances, professional leverage, and legal maneuvering. Taken together, Reynolds' alleged involvement in both Deadpool and It Ends With Us has fueled accusations of a consistent pattern, using clout to control outcomes and sideline opposition. As these stories continue to circulate, fans and industry insiders alike are beginning to reassess the carefully crafted image, suggesting that the reality behind the scenes may be far more calculated and manipulative than the light-hearted persona presented on screen.
If he wants to go after you, he invests himself into every area of your life. And he did this just with Baldoni. He's like, who are your friends? Okay. Who owns the production company? Who owns the next movie scripts? I am going to invest myself everywhere. I'm going to be doing your movie premiere. I'm going to be doing promos and making fun of.
Robert Downey Jr. reportedly had no interest in participating in Deadpool and Wolverine, and the reason may be more complicated than a simple scheduling conflict. According to sources cited in Variety and comments later made in an IndieWire interview, Ryan Reynolds, after gaining significant creative control over Deadpool and Wolverine, pushed to pack the film with high-profile cameos. One of the most ambitious ideas was bringing Robert Downey Jr. back as Tony Stark/Iron Man. On paper, it would have been a massive moment for Marvel fans. In reality, Downey declined immediately. Co-writers Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick confirmed that Downey was approached and flatly said no, despite a fully written scene designed to fit cleanly into the Avengers timeline set before Infinity War. Wernick later explained, "We wanted him to do a cameo. We had written that scene with Happy and Downey in mind." Reese added that Reynolds himself had written the scene in hopes of securing Downey's involvement. While the official explanation stopped at "he passed," industry insiders suggest there was more behind the decision. Some believe Downey sensed potential chaos surrounding the production and chose to stay away. By that point, stories of behind-the-scenes tension on Deadpool projects were already well known. Original Deadpool director Tim Miller famously exited the franchise over creative differences with Reynolds, and rumors of difficult dynamics had circulated quietly in Hollywood for years. From this perspective, Downey's refusal wasn't paranoia, but prudence. Known for carefully managing his legacy after a hard-won comeback, he appeared unwilling to step into a project where creative control and credit might become contentious. Rather than risk being pulled into a headline-driven stunt, he walked away without hesitation. The situation gained renewed attention after Downey later agreed to return to Marvel in a completely different capacity, reportedly as Dr. Doom, suggesting his rejection of Deadpool and Wolverine was not about Marvel itself, but about the specific circumstances. Insiders note that Downey has a reputation for reading industry dynamics well and avoiding public disputes before they erupt. The controversy doesn't end there. Questions about creative control and recognition resurfaced when Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld announced in February 2025 that he was severing ties with Marvel. In a Variety report, Liefeld cited multiple grievances following the Deadpool and Wolverine premiere, including being excluded, along with his family, from Disney's afterparty. He also criticized the placement of creator credits and what he perceived as dismissive treatment from Marvel leadership. Despite appearing on the red carpet at the film's New York premiere, Liefeld later noticed that photos of him with the creative team were removed or never published. To some observers, this echoed earlier incidents involving actress Marina Baccarin, who appeared noticeably isolated during Deadpool 2 promotional events, amid reports of disagreements with Reynolds. The pattern, critics argue, suggests that collaborators who challenge or complicate Reynolds' creative dominance risk being sidelined. Liefeld, the original architect of Deadpool, ultimately found himself excluded from celebrations tied to the very franchise he created. What should have been a victory lap for collaboration instead became for some a cautionary tale about power, image control, and erasure in Hollywood. Deadpool may thrive on irreverence and chaos on screen, but behind the scenes, the stakes appear far more serious, and in that environment, even legends like Robert Downey Jr. seem to know when it's best to walk away.